Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient. Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient.
This is Beyond the Margins, where we go deeper into story, creativity, and the courage it takes to speak your truth. Join host Jen Chambers each week for writing inspiration, conversations with creative minds, the yearly 12-week Artist Sway series, or the Write Your Story series, all designed to help you find, shape, and share your voice. Because your story doesn't end on the page, it begins beyond the margins.
Hello, and welcome back to Beyond the Margins. My name's Jennifer Chambers, Jen Chambers, and I am talking today about the slow season. This is week 3. We had a little break. But this week, we're talking about kitchen rituals. I love this time of year in the kitchen. There's a certain rhythm. You just can't rush it, right? The clink of the spoon, the gentle simmer of the pots on the stove, the warmth when you walk into the kitchen, it feels like a hug. It's not just cooking, it's a ritual. It's a pause in the swirl of everyday life. I'm doing a lot of research about rituals because I'm writing about a witch in one of my new stories. It's coming up, so it's been very fun. And when I step into my kitchen in these weeks that lead up to the holidays, it's the epitome of slowing down. I want to notice the scent of the cinnamon in the air and the deep reds and golds of the leaves that I can see outside my kitchen window, the soft hum of the kettle. I'm here to remind myself today, and you, that we don't need to rush. The magic is in the process. Take one deep breath with me here. Inhale and notice the warmth of your body, the rhythm of your heartbeat. And as you exhale, slowly let go of your to-do lists and your plans and your pressure. They still exist, but you don't have to think about them right now. Now imagine the kitchen around you, the counter, the sink, the soft light that spills from a lamp or the window. Picture a pot on the stove with the steam curling out of the top. Let yourself feel that simple joy of movement, the stirring, the chopping, the folding, the tasting. In this space, nothing needs to be perfect. You're here to create, to witness, to nourish. Let your hands remind you that the slow work, the stirring, the peeling, the sprinkling of sugar, it carries as much meaning as the finished product. Sometimes it can be a chore to do all this cooking, especially if you're a parent. It's the same thing every day. We have to eat again. But the slow season invites us to slow down. So today, I want to share 3 of my favorite slow season kitchen rituals. They aren't meant to overwhelm you, and they're pretty simple. But it's kind of an invitation to connect to yourself and to your senses and the people you care about. The first is making spiced sugar. You create a little jar of warmth and anticipation, and you can use it to brighten a simple cup of tea or finish baked goods or sprinkle on toast. I like to think about the sound of the dry ingredients as they tumble together and the smell that the spices waft out when you open the jar. The ingredients that we're working with for this recipe is a mason jar, and you put granulated sugar, cinnamon sticks, whole cloves, star anise if you like it, maybe a vanilla bean, though that's optional. And the idea here is infusion and patience. This isn't instant flavor. It's waiting for the intention, the spices, to permeate the base, the sugar. But also, it doesn't take too long. So it's kind of it's good for both. So the steps for this is first, place your sugar in the mason jar. Think about the best sugar that you have, the one that you'd be happy to use every morning in your tea. Some people I know really like the organic or the natural sugar, whatever works for you, whatever you love. Put it in a mason jar, and then lightly crack a few of the whole spices that you have. So tap the star anise lightly with the back of the spoon. Maybe same thing with your nutmeg, if it's whole nutmeg, or grate it. You could break up your cinnamon sticks, or you could grate them also. Release the oils and aroma. You're activating everything. And then bury all the whole spices, if you have them, directly into the sugar. So you can do this with the cloves and the anise and the cinnamon sticks. If you don't have whole, you can definitely use ground. Just stir them up very well so that everything's all in the pool, as they say. And you're sealing in all this warmth and this comfort into the jar. So then you seal it up and then you shake the jar for at least a count of 10. You're mixing it all up. It doesn't matter. Just shake it until you feel like it's all mixed. And then you have the waiting. Set the jar on your counter or in your windowsill in your kitchen. And the magic happens over the next week. It's only a week, 7 days or so. The sugar crystals will slowly absorb all of those spice oils. See, the idea of this small little ritual isn't the making, it's the waiting and the discovery when it's done. And it's so good. And it's easy. So sprinkle it over oatmeal or stir it into tea or use it to rim a cocktail glass. My friend Wendy Harrop she's got an amazing series every Friday, where she talks about a different seasonal cocktail. I'll try and link that so you could definitely use one of her cocktails. It would be wonderful to rim the glass for that. Just a fun one. And you can use it for a gift too if you would like. And it only takes a week, so you could start it now and easily have it in time for Christmas gifts. The second one is making herbed polenta. I'm using the idea here of stirring the polenta to think about focus, and it also makes a really satisfying, creamy base for any meal. To do that, you take your liquid, your broth or water, to a gentle simmer. And I'll have measurements on the blog. But you need to finely chop the herbs for this. It releases everything and gets them all ready to give the most flavor to your polenta. Then you rain the polenta into the simmering liquid. I do like to use bone broth. I think that's great. There's also a really good recipe on the back of Simple, the regular cornmeal that you can get at the store for any polenta. So it's really easy to make, but you have to stir constantly. Use a wooden spoon or a whisk and prevent lumps. So this requires your full attention, which is why it's irritating, but it's so good when it's done. Lower the heat to a minimum, and then for the next 20 to 30 minutes, your only job is to stir. So you're unplugging, you're focusing on the movement. And in the last 5 minutes of your stirring, stir in like a knob or a little thing of butter and some salt and all of your chopped herbs. And then it just is so savory and vibrant. You need to cover it when it's done and then let it sit for 5 minutes. After this is the key. When you do this, it silently completes it. The polenta swells one more time. It gets to super ultimately creamy. It's the best. And then I like to use this as a bed for roasted vegetables or meats, or my daughter loves it with cheese and olive oil. It's wonderful. It's so good. It's making me want to make this tonight. I love it. So that's polenta. You can also pour it into a loaf pan and then refrigerate and then make slices, like 1/2-inch slices that you can then fry. That's excellent. I love that quite a bit. So think about that. Maybe that's something you want to put into your meal plan. And as you do that, it's not hard. It does take time, but oh my gosh, it's so good. And you can always hide from your family while you're stirring it. Nothing wrong with that. If that's what you need to do, that's okay. I endorse that. The third recipe is called a winter fruit compote. Again, it's really simple. You take any kind of hardy winter produce or frozen fruit, any kind of fruit that you like, and you create this really amazing, bright spoonful of yumminess that contrasts everything cold outside. You could take apples, pears, cranberries, or frozen berries. Any mixture of whatever you would like into whatever container you would like. Really, this is a suit yourself, choose your own adventure kind of recipe. You also need a sweetener. You can use honey, maple syrup. You can use sugar, brown sugar or regular sugar, white sugar, not icing sugar or confectioners. Water. And then if you have it, adding orange or lemon peel is wonderful. So you prepare you roughly chop all of your fruit, the pieces, and you peel it if it's something that needs to be peeled. Nothing has to be perfect. The heat gets it all ready. And then use a vegetable peeler to take a wide strip of that citrus zest from your lemon or orange and avoid the white pith if you can. So you put it all together into a saucepan. You want to have just enough water to prevent sticking. So the ratio here, it all depends on how much fruit you're using. Just enough water to prevent sticking, just covering it barely. I usually use covering it kind of like to the first knuckle of your pinky. So you have a little bit, and you can watch it if you want to. And then you bring it to a slow simmer on the stove. And then you cover it, and about 15 or 20 minutes, remove the lid. It'll look thin, but then let it simmer uncovered for about 5 or 10 more minutes. And then everything kind of looks glazed and thickened. You can take out the citrus peel, and then you take it out, and you can put it in the fridge for about a week. Use it like over yogurt or pancakes or ice cream. It's so good. I just love it so much. I love to use that when I think of summer and I use up the last of the blackberries that I picked from my parents' farm, and then whatever else I have around. I asked some listeners to share what slowing down in the kitchen means to them, so you might like that. Here's one that stayed with me. This listener said, "When I knead bread, I feel like I'm pressing out all the tension from my day. The dough reminds me that time is flexible and that the rhythm of work and rest is in my hands." I thought that was kind of cool. You might notice that same kind of rhythm in your own cooking, or even in folding laundry or washing dishes or making tea. These slow moments, if you take just a second to notice what you're doing, it connects you to yourself and to the people that you love. We all have to do the laundry and the cooking and that kind of stuff at some point. If you want to journal about the whole idea of slowness this week, think about what's one ritual in your kitchen that makes you feel rooted. How can you bring more intention to what you do this week? And could one of these things that you do become a gift for yourself or someone else? I also have a recipe for homemade vanilla extract on my newsletter this week on my Substack that makes a great gift. And that one is a little bit longer. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks, but it will be good for New Year's. But I'll leave you today with this. The next time you slice up an apple or stir a pot or let a pie bake, notice the small miracles in the ordinary. Think about the whole idea of cooking. It's not just making stuff. It's a conversation with the things around you and your memories, especially in the holiday time, and the people who are going to enjoy the stuff, the creations that you make. So pour yourself a cup of tea and light a candle and think about the rituals of the kitchen. Slowing down isn't missing out. It's stepping into the flavor and the fragrance, and stepping fully into the love that's around us. Thank you so much for being with me today. This is a fun episode, and I like this series. I've really enjoyed hearing your guys' reflections on it too, so keep those coming. Thanks very much. I'll see you next week.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Our stories are brilliant.